In time. In time. Testing. Refail. Testing. Refail.
Good morning, everyone.
Hello.
Good
Hi,
morning
Rachel.
to you.
Hi, Miriam. So happy that you could join us today. How are you?
Yes, I'm great. I'm very happy to join you. I thought, oh my gosh, I'm late, but no, I was just a couple of minutes early. But I'm going to put you. I'm going to turn my mic off. I'm usually late for things. Somebody just came to my door, so I'm just going to go check on that business for a minute.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Hello, GM, mic test.
Hi, Casper.
Hi, Yun.
Nice to meet you all again.
Nice to meet you too. So welcome everyone to the 11th episode of the Angel Swing Weekend Chat. This is June from the Angel Swing account. And with me today are here my lovely co-hosts, Casper, Johannes, Ethspresso, and Rubble. And we are introducing 3 artists today on the chain Fantom and Tezos. And our guest speakers are Ms. McD, KayWren, and TradScape. And before we start, how about some introduction from you, Casper? What we're doing and how, like a brief story of our how we started.
Yeah, so just a brief intro as usual. The Angel Swing was started because I realized that a lot of the 10K PFP projects were getting too much overwhelming amount of attention. And I noticed there was a lot of beautiful independent art that's out there that was totally being overwhelmed by all this 10K PFP's marketing. So I decided to set up a virtual gallery to showcase art from independent artists, and that's where we are right now. We focus mainly on the ETH chain, but we're very happy to have our friends today from the different chains, just to have an idea of what's happening on the other side of the world. And very happy to have everyone listening in.
Thank you so much for the introduction, Casper. So in last week's episode, we started to talk about what artists can do to navigate the NFT space during this bear market. And so today we thought we'd just kind of continue this discussion by exploring art on alternative chains besides Ethereum. And as Casper mentioned, our gallery, we can, I think, due to technical limitations, only display art on Ethereum. So
I think the gallery, sorry to interrupt you, the galleries can actually display Tezos art, but for delegation, I think it's still only ETH.
Yes,
now.
That's correct. Sorry, I forgot
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, you can absolutely display Tezos
So
art.
we have to buy it first to display it, and usually we are able to display art on the permission of the artist. And yeah, maybe we should buy some pieces from Tezos to show our love to other chains too.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Thank you, Johannes. So I thought I liked Miss McD speak first because she has another call after our spaces, so she will be there on time. And so Miss McD, that's her artist name. She is actually Miriam Dunn, and she is an artist and published poet writer from Canada. I don't exactly remember how I met her on Twitter, but I just noticed that she really spent a tremendous amount of effort to help building the NFT community. She created a Twitter list called Backed Actors Account, where she listed like scammers helping particularly new artists entering the NFT space, just not fall kind of victim to these people. And she really spent a lot of time to really trying to really research these people. and some are even I think blue chip accounts. So yeah, so thank you so much, Miriam, for doing this for the community. And so Miriam, she has a collection called Mass of the Metaverse on OpenSea, but she also has art now on Tezos. And yeah, I thought I invited her today to speak because I would like to hear about opinion about how why Tezos is actually so popular with one-on-one artists. And so yeah. Miriam, so welcome to our spaces, and tell us a bit about your style of art and your inspiration behind it, and yeah, your opinion or your experience with Tezos.
So I would love to share my experience with Tezos. I started on the OpenSea. Actually, I think probably I started with Rarible or Mintable or something like that because I just kind of Googled how to make NFTs. But whatever intrigued me to start with the Tezos wallet, I am so pleased that I did. So I think anybody listening who is kind of new and or thinking about it should get a pen and paper because I'm going to drop a whole bunch of names and places. So one of the things about the Tezos is that it is definitely a community. And the reason is quite simple, because it is truly decentralized. Back a few months ago, one of the platforms, Hickanunk, kind of collapsed in one day. And within hours, it was back up and running. And that's because it was open source, and a small group of people said, come on, let's get this up. Let's do this. And it was done and within hours. And it was back up as Hickanunk.art or XTZ, I forget which one, and we didn't lose any access. We didn't lose any of our art. Everything was still there on this new old platform. As a collector, I have to say that I recommend that people mint on TIA, which is the old Hickanunk, or Object or Versum. And the reason is they talk to each other. As a collector, many collectors will tell you they do not want to buy your art from Rarible because it does not interact with the other platforms. The reason why the Tezos chain is a community and has such a sense of community, one of those reasons is because the platforms communicate with one another. In other words, if I mint on TIA, TEIA.art, if I mint there, where I do mint, in fact, I can still see it on Object. So what I do is I mint on TIA, but when I post it to shill, for the lack of a better word, share, I try and remember to share it on Object because collectors prefer Object to buy. Then we want the collectors to be able to find us easily. So Rarible is not recommended on the Tezos chain. Object and TIA are highly recommended. And my personal preference is to mint on TIA and post on Object. And when I need information, I go to Object. If I want to find out what just happened, did I just sell something, who just bought something, how many have left, quick information like that, you go to Object. So that's one of the things I will say about the community. The other thing is this. There are so many people involved. I mean, okay, when you think of other platforms that are centralized, they're businesses, they're not even advertising, they're not running events, they're not talking to, they're not buying each other's art. That's just not happening. In Tezos, because it is decentralized, anybody can get involved and be one of the community builders. One of those people, and you might want to pen and write this down if you're not familiar, is NFT Biker. NFT Biker has a page that gives you all kinds of information. Now, I closed all my web pages so you could hear me better. But basically, you can see who your biggest buyers are, how many editions people have bought from you, how much you've made in royalties, how much you have spent, how many pieces you have bought. It gives you all kinds of information, and it is a really, really great site. I would recommend it. NFTbiker.com. And there's a person that I would recommend to follow, and that is Lily White, and I'll tell you why. Lily is a wealth of information. And she believes in helping emerging artists, as do I. She believes in community and building community and welcoming people into the community. And she runs a space almost every week, I think every week, where she helps people by giving information and giving tips and sharing how to do and sharing best practices. So she is really a wealth of information. So I would recommend Lily White. And the third thing that I wanted to mention was there is to follow Tezos community events. And there are so many community events, and Lily is involved in most of them. For instance, they just had a Fear for Tez. There are events where everybody can participate and use the same hashtag. You would not believe the sales that go on. You just wouldn't believe it. We are so active buying and selling and creating. It is just unbelievable. So follow the Tezos community events and keep up to date on what's happening in the community. And you will start to see you become familiar with many people that just are always intermingling and intermixing, because these events keep us connected. There is another thing that I wanted to mention, and that is that there are community rewards. Now, where do you get that? What other chain do you get community rewards? So, sorry, that's the webpage, Tezos Community Events, where you can elect people to win rewards. Last month, for the month of April, I won 50 Tezos for placing third place in the Troll Hunter category. Now, if you guys know me from general NFT space, you know that I curate a list of bad actors. They're mostly liars. Some of them are scammers and thieves, but they're bad actors. And I spend pretty much a part of every day going after and trying to take down these players that make our space, kind of degrade our space and waste our time and lie to us. So I won third place for Troll Hunter. There's also, you can elect somebody for being a helper. You can elect somebody for being a community builder. There's a category for memes, if you want to make memes about Tezos itself. And it's so generous. Like, first place is 75 Tezos. You have no idea how much art you can buy with that. So that's another aspect that creates this sense of community, right? That is an incentive program, and nobody was compelled to put on. This is something else that grew from the grassroots. It's an incentive program to encourage community behavior and good behavior and supportive behavior. So that's something not too many people know about. I really like to tell people about it. The other aspect of Tezos that I want to talk about, which has good and bad connotations, is the value system. Right now, I haven't checked in a few days, but we're going to just say a Tezo is worth about $2 US dollars. It's not. It's probably $1.89 or something. But when I started, it was like, I think it was $7. So because the currency it's not one of the big currencies, but it's very stable. The price is kind of low, so we're going to say an average of $2. For some reason, people just value their work so low on this chain. When I started, I made everything 10 Tezos, and it was up around $7, and I sold things, but now I'm down, like I've marked everything down to kind of fit in with everybody. When people start on this chain, they are afraid of something, and they start selling things for like half a Tezo, 0.33 Tezos. Like, that's what, 89 cents or something. That is crazy. Don't do that. Stop it. There's actually a group of collectors who have made a promise, a vow, not to buy any art, even if they love it, if it's less than 1 Tezo. So what we're trying to do is encourage the increase in the value system, you see. But there are so many artists in parts of the world where a few Tezos will actually buy them supper, that it's hard to it's hard to balance between someone myself or North America, where a few Tezos isn't going to buy me much at all. But because the value system is quite a bit different, you know, one Tezo being, say, average $2, people can make many editions of things, you see. So my advice to people starting out is to start out with 10 editions, 15 editions of something, maybe 20, you know, if you have a big audience, and market low, like one Tezo, 1.5 Tezo, 2 Tezos, and get yourself established. So if you look at, you might not sell every edition, but that is pretty much the advice to everybody starting out, is several editions at a low price. Do not go below 1 Tezos, and then get yourself established. Now, right now I'm at I'm charging usually about 5 Tezos for things, but I have like 20, 25 editions, or 10, 15 editions. So you kind of have to get a sense of your own. It's not about the value of the art. The art on that chain is incredible. It's truly incredible. As I already mentioned, just some of the most beautiful, creative art you will see anywhere. It makes OpenSea look like a Walmart. Honestly, it is just wonderful. And if you want to have a quick look at a whole lot of art on the Tezos chain, I recommend you go to Women's Verse 101. Okay, so that's the Twitter handle at Women's Verse 101, and they have a museum on the blockchain, on the Tezos blockchain, on Object, and they have over 500 pieces that have been bought or donated. And if you have a quick look, I guarantee you won't leave without purchasing, because if you have a quick look and start to see the type of work and the caliber of art that's on that chain, you just will be blown away. So I know that I'm rambling. Not really rambling. I know I'm taking up a lot of time, but I wanted to mention those things. I wanted to mention TIA and Object. I wanted to mention Not to Use Rarible. I wanted to mention NFT Biker and Lily White, and the Tezos community events and the rewards. And finally, if you have not started on Tezos chain and you want to, get yourself a wallet, either Temple, TEMPLE, or Kukai, KUKAI.app. And you need just 1 Tezo really to start minting on TIA. It's a little more on Object, but what we who are established will do is, if you need a 1 Tezo to get yourself started, then we'll give it to you. If I can't, I'll find someone who can. But I have a few Tezos in my wallet right now. If somebody is new, they want to start, I will give you the Tezos to start. And I guess that's all I wanted to say, really, except go have a look at my art. I forgot about that part. No, I'm CoinSeer on Tezos. Oh, that reminds me, the last thing I wanted to mention. When you purchase something as a collector, what people look to see, oh, who just bought that? They see your wallet address, and the wallet address is like TZZ7986244, you know, it goes on and on. It doesn't, and they can't track you down. They have no idea who you are. The best thing, if you want to really play professional, you need to get your name on that wallet. So you go to the Tezos domain. I don't, like I said, I don't have anything up in front of me, but so I'm going by memory. But just put it, you know, even if you Google Tezos name, domain, name, wallet, something like that. But Tezos name, Tezos domain, and get your name on your wallet. And then when somebody buys a piece, or when you buy a piece, you know, or I buy a piece, you know, they can say, oh, look, it was CoinSeer that bought that. So on the Tea.art and the Object.coin, I am CoinSeer, CoinSeer, and my wallet says CoinSeer.tez. So your wallet can say John.tez or Angel.tez or whatever you want it to say. So I guess that's the final piece of the puzzle for me, is the wallet name and all of the things that I just mentioned.
Yeah, thank you so much, Miriam, for this all this valuable information. I wrote all these people down that you recommended. I'll make sure that we write a tweet after it. So we have questions from Rubble first, and then Ethspresso.
Yeah, I think quick one from me. So thank you so much, Ms. McD, for all the information. I was just wondering how do the collectors discover Tezos, or what kind of profile of collectors do you have on Tezos? Because I've not really come across it. It's not oftenly found for newbies. Just wanted to understand the profile of collectors.
Oh gosh, that's a hard question, a very good question. But like most of the collectors that I know, there's Sandy Toes, for instance. I think it's Sandy Toes 11. There's Lily White, who I mentioned. Paper Buddha is a big collector. Anubis. And the thing that I find about these collectors, and including myself, is that we are really community oriented, right? We're not collecting to try and get some $100,000 PFP down the road. And we're not, we're not collecting from somebody we'll never see again on OpenSea or whatever. I'm on OpenSea, so I have nothing against that, by the way. But they're really community-oriented people. So they're collecting, they're showing what they're collecting. They want other people to collect from them. They're getting involved in the events. They're trying to onboard people like myself. I'm always inviting good artists to come and join the community. So I guess that's really all I can say about the type of collector, type of person.
Yeah. Okay. So thanks for all of this great information. I wanted to ask, it's related, I think, is the community mainly on Twitter, or are there any Discords that are important as well?
I am not a fan of Discord because it hurts my head. I have ADD and it hurts my head. But many of the big collectors and the big artists have their own Discords, like Paper Buddha does, for instance. There is Tezos community on Discord. Lily White has a Discord community, and she has a helper section, and she runs live. It's like Space, but it's not Space, but it's live, and she talks and gives information and education to people. So a lot of individuals have the Discord, and I can only assume that the Tezos community events does as well, but I'm just assuming.
Thank you so much, Miriam, for all these great information. Anyone that you want to, anything that you want to add before we move on to the next speaker?
No, nothing that I want to add except that I hope if somebody has been thinking about it, that they do, hop on board. And if they need any help at all, I will help. Lily White will help. Sandy Toes will help. There are a lot of helpers in the community, so just give us a shout. And thanks for allowing me to speak. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So since we are on the Tezos chain, let's hear TradScape's experience on Tezos. TradScape is Madison Taylor, and he's a digital artist and very gifted jazz guitarist also. He leads a jazz band too, and he creates animated collage pixel art based on old illustrations and paintings, I think, added or accompanied by musical composition. And I think, yeah, you're already a speaker, so welcome, Trad, and tell us a bit about your experience on Tezos and why, as far as I know, you have, except for one work on Foundation, all your pieces have been minted on Tezos. So why did you choose Tezos and not have any minted artwork on OpenSea, for instance?
Okay, so when I first, very similar to Miss Mac, and she covered, gosh, like really just so much good information about Tez and about getting started and sort of understanding the environment. I mean, she really covered almost all the very important stuff. And I very similarly to her did start on OpenSea. I had a completely different kind of collection than the stuff I'm doing now. and I still have it, and there's still a few, I may even return to it one day. But I found instantly that when I sort of started getting into the community and talking to people on Twitter, I just naturally started gravitating towards the art on Tezos, as far as the people I wanted to talk to and the art I wanted to look at and even collect. Since day one, I've pretty much been a collector as well as, an artist in the space. And I just found myself naturally gravitating towards Tezos artists. And I didn't necessarily at the beginning want to mint on Tezos because, the learning curve to starting with NFTs, especially if you're someone like me who hasn't been into crypto or anything like that at all, can feel fairly steep. I don't think it actually is, but it can feel fairly steep. And so I just kind of didn't want to move to another blockchain. I was like, oh, I'm already trying to do this OpenSea thing. But I just eventually, I think as I more and more got into that community and less was talking to people who were minting on Ethereum, I just decided well, this is basically the community I'm in, the people I'm talking to. I might as well actually mint on the blockchain that I'm participating in. And the cool thing about it was that as soon as I moved, and I started a completely different collection with a completely different style when I moved to Tezos, and that has something to do with it. I think the style was spoke to more people, and I was more enthusiastic about it. But as soon as I moved, I started selling stuff. I think for the first 3 months of me trying to sell NFTs and make NFTs, I didn't sell anything. And I only had a collection on OpenSea, and I was pushing it, working hard and hard and hard. And then my very first Tezos piece, I sold it cheap. I think I did an edition of 10 and sold it at 0.5 Tez at the time, and that was back when Tezos was more valuable. But I sold it pretty quickly, and then got community feedback about it, and was talking to people, and I just found minting on Hicket Nunk at the time just to be so, like Miss Mac was saying, so community oriented and so supportive. And the fact that the sales weren't amazing, obviously. Who knows, I probably only made $20 on that piece, but having someone put any amount of money towards you in support, and then having all that verbal support is such a boost for morale. I think that it really inspired me to keep going, because I was pretty close to being maybe none of this stuff is for me, because it just doesn't seem like I can sell anything. But so as soon as I found Tezos and found that support, I was sort of off to the races, and it's been pretty great for me ever since. One thing that Miss Mac covered a little bit is the worth of Tezos and the sort of difference between that and something like Ethereum. And that is something to certainly consider as an artist. And it's a big trade-off. You said I had that one piece on Foundation, and I sold that for 2 Ethereum. And at the time, I think that was around $6,000, and that was huge for me. And for some reason, I find myself, even though I sort of have that proof that it might be more profitable financially for me to pursue Ethereum, I just find myself staying on Tez, because I think for my own process in making art, I need that community and that support. And it's so strong on Tezos. I had sort of a realization the other day when someone was saying, talking about all the toxicity that can exist in the NFT space and how that can be so difficult. And my Twitter is curated to the point where I've got some Ethereum friends that I talk to, and they're wonderful, but most of the people I talk to are Tezos, and it's curated to the point where I don't see any negativity. It's not in the space at all for me. Everyone's supportive, nice, hardworking, and does nothing but boost you up and buy your art and help you out. It's been really incredible. I'm finding it to be a sort of artist utopia, but there is to the point of making money as an artist, and sort of to the subject of your space in the bear market. That's where the real sort of the other edge of the sword kind of comes in Tezos, it's hard. It's hard to make enough money. I totally think it's doable. I'm at the point right now where like it's my only job is NFTs, and since that kind of big crash lately, it's become difficult, but it's definitely possible. I mean, I'm in a place where if I can make like 2 pieces a week or something like that, I can support myself. So it's been pretty incredible. And I think that's what I have to say about finding Tezos.
Wow, thanks.
I was going to say that, there's the financial aspect of being an artist, but with the Tezos community too, with with selling your Tezos, with the value so low, the price so low, you get a dopamine hit every day, sometimes 2 and 3 times. So I sell something on that Tezos chain almost every day.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not getting rich, but man, I'm feeling good.
Yeah,
so,
and
so there is yeah, I was just going to say there is that kind of trade-off, but for people in other countries that have a more depressed economic system, that's not just a dopamine hit, that is supper, for them and the kids.
oh,
So
absolutely.
yeah, so wanted to say that.
I absolutely agree. I mean, I think like it's different for everybody, but I've seen people, like you were saying, in different countries. Like I was talking to a friend from Brazil, and I'm really into Brazilian art on Tezos as a collector. And some of those people live in some pretty, low economic situations. And some of them are like changing their lives on not much Tezos. And there is room. We have this idea in Tezos that like, oh, there's no whales, there's not enough money. But I mean, I sell 5 editions usually of my work, which is pretty low compared to what most people do. But right now I sell each one for 35 Tez a piece, and that's pretty high. And when Tez was worth more, like USD, for instance, I was making good money on a weekly basis, and I expect to get back to that at some point. I haven't raised my prices since the bear market or anything because I'd, rather have stability for my collectors and stuff like that. But you can make good money on Tezos, but you have to push. I think, like you said, you have to be kind of get over that fear of something not selling, or that fear that maybe your work isn't worth what you want to ask. I mean, I can almost objectively say that there's work on Tezos that is better than my work selling for way less than my work. But I think I sort of decided what I needed from the community as far as how much I wanted to charge, and I've been able to get it by holding that stance, and then I think giving back to the community a lot, collecting a lot, being here on a fairly daily basis, and having adding some more to the stability of the space, I think.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tred, for this really your interesting insights. Do we have any questions from the audience?
Not really a question, but a lot of points I will have to check out now. But I think it's great to see that there are so many communities, friendly communities out there, and this is exactly our mission for Ethereum, to be the place with a nice Ethereum community where we support each other, sharing our art. So we just chatted in the Discord and said, okay, maybe you should join our Discord. I know, Miss, this is a Discord, but we are exactly on the same vibe. So just cheering each other up and collecting art from each other. So we really know this feeling, and this was exactly how we feel too. Thank you for being part of this nice crypto community as a whole.
Oh yeah, it's wonderful, and I definitely see that in Ethereum as well. I think the only, the easy way, it's so easy to differentiate between that sort of aspect of the two blockchains, because it feels like all of Tezos is nice, whereas Ethereum has amazing communities, but also terrible communities, and they're kind of side by side. So for someone just joining it in the space and kind of dipping their toes in, they unfortunately tend to see a lot of the negative stuff first because it gets the most attention, and so they maybe will think to themselves that Ethereum is more hostile and difficult. But I think you're absolutely right. I mean, I've seen
We have to
Wonderful.
change that. We have to change that. You know,
Yeah,
you
I
you
completely
join
agree.
Ethereum and you see a lot of angels helping each other. That's the mission, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, please do join us on our Discord thread if you find an opportunity.
Oh, I would love
think
that. Yeah.
it's a great community, and we don't do like this usual shilling stuff like on other Discords where people just drop their art and then just disappear. But
Yeah, no, I love
it's
that.
really
I get
fun.
lost in Discord a lot, but I'll definitely join it.
Yeah, so everyone, if you haven't already followed our artists, Miss McD, TradScape, and KayWren, our next speaker, then please do. I think these are all great, amazing people and artists. So yeah, let's move on to our next speaker, Kay. And Kay is an artist working with watercolors and digital medium. And she just minted a Genesis collection, Moon Shadow, on the chain Fantom. And she explores the subconscious mind in her work. And yeah, welcome, Kay. Please tell us why you chose to mint your first work on Fantom.
Hi, June. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Thanks for having me. Why did I choose Fantom? I think about a year ago, I really got into Fantom from like an investor's aspect. So I got involved in the space. I started, I had just learned what NFTs were. I wasn't doing art full time then, but I started to sort of get involved with the artists on Fantom and just watching everything sort of go down for, a good 6 or 8 months. And then I saw a lot of, like, the community was so great and welcoming and just like diehard fans. I mean, it's a pretty small community. It's definitely grown a lot in the last year. So I thought I would just try minting there. It's kind of different in the sense that, I mean, not the majority of sales, but a lot of the sales are done through auction houses. So there's there's 4 active auction houses, and every weekend, or sometimes on Wednesdays, there's auctions. So some of them are themed, some of them are for emerging artists, but it's just a really fun, great opportunity. I mean, you get a chance to sort of get on stage and you have a few minutes to talk about your art with a captive audience, and it just kind of brings everyone together in this really magical sort of way. So I think just watching that for 8 months and then diving in, yeah, I mean, sitting on the sidelines was just not enough. I eventually just wanted to get involved, and I'm so glad that I did.
So you said the sales are done through auctions. So how is this, like online auctions, or
they're through Discord?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you have your lineup of artists, and then there's people that host, and it ranges between, I would say, like 15 and 40 pieces per auction. So some are, short and fun, and some are kind of long and tedious, but you get a lot of big collectors in, you get a lot of new collectors, a lot of artists that have been around for a while, a lot of new artists. I mean, things sell everywhere between 50 Fantom and like 7,000 Fantom. So there's a huge range. I mean, it's kind of open for everybody.
And how does the community find each other, like through Twitter, or how do people learn about? I mean, if I don't know about this Discord exists, I mean, how do I find the art or the artist?
I would say Twitter. I mean, there's definitely a few Twitter pages. What do you call those Twitter pages? that feature artists, but a lot of what goes on is in Discord and in a few main channels, and then a lot of even one artists have their own little Discord channel, and it's just kind of, I would say there's like a dozen or so Discord pages that, if you spend time in, you'll start learning more about people. The marketplaces that Fantom has aren't especially good at highlighting artists. It's kind of just there's a huge collection page and you got to kind of filter through it. Like they haven't really got to the point where it's easy to find new artists or one-of-one collections as opposed to generative collections. So really just sort of diving into Discord and Twitter. I mean, there's a few Twitter pages. I don't know what those are called. I just call them Twitter pages. Like Fantom Watch, FTM Watch, and they also have a website that highlights mints coming up and drops coming up. Pinky Swear Art Collective obviously is one that I'm really involved in and love very much, and they do a wonderful job at supporting new artists or artists that sort of just it's very inclusive, and it's very it's just a wonderful little space. I think Fantom, I think all crypto can be kind of intimidating and very masculine and a little bit daunting. So Pinky Swear is kind of like the antidote to that. So definitely them.
So I saw that you already minted your pieces. What's the name of this platform?
PaintSwap?
PaintSwap, yeah.
Yeah, PaintSwap, yeah.
But will like your pieces, do you plan to sell this also through auction, or will it just be listed at some point?
Yes, that one's in an auction later today. So far,
okay.
I've only ever sold a piece through an auction. So I haven't actually listed on any of the marketplaces before, which is something I'd love to do and, look at different ways of doing it. But so far it's just been auctions, and it's been really great. So
fantastic. Yeah, what do you say, Casper? I think we'll probably need to incorporate more chains in our community in the future.
Yeah, I think it's really great to be hearing from all our speakers on Tezos as well as Fantom. We'd love to welcome you guys into our Discord first, and then Gallery. Hopefully, On Cyber upgrades their tech. But actually, I wanted to just ask if Pinky Swear was willing to just say a few words about Fantom, since she's the one he's the one. My bad. He's the one that kind of started this very impressive Discord that I went in to have a look. So many channels, pretty much him doing everything by himself. Pinky Swear, are you available to just say a few words or not really?
I'm going to interrupt you because I have to run. I have a Zoom meeting, and it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much, and have a great afternoon, everybody. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Hi, everybody. How's it going? So, yeah, I didn't have much to say, and since I've wasted time with connecting, I'll just I'm really grateful to have met you all, and that Kay put me on to Angel's Wings and all your Discord, and Casper and Johannes and Yoon and everybody. I think that a lot of our mission is really well aligned, and I think really big things can happen in this next phase for NFT space cross-chain for the greater community as a whole. I think that as the world evolves around crypto, NFT will be essentially the front face to basically motivate that to the broader audience. I think is crucial. And so as people try to compete less and try to connect more, I think that's going to be really powerful. So we look at that in terms of how we do things. Kay and I talk often about how we can connect with our community in Fantom, and we've been looking at cross-chain in terms of how other places are doing it. And so really thrilled to have met you all and listen to the conversations today. I can probably talk for hours if I think so. I kind of just wanted to give my general impression of everything. I don't know if you have questions. I'm happy to answer, or maybe I can join another session at some point. I don't want to kind of take over here, but I just really excited for everybody.
Thank you very much, Pinky Swear. I know it wasn't really planned for you to speak, but appreciate you coming on to give us a very quick roundup of the Fantom chain. I mean, just as a little tidbit, actually my Casper name started from Fantom because I was on in my early days of DeFi on Fantom, and I was on this exchange, the biggest exchange on Fantom, which is Spooky Swap, and I needed to set up my own Discord name. And Fantom is obviously known for its horror themes, and I wanted to be a friendly ghost, so why not? So just a little tidbit here. Yeah, I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Do we have any last questions?
I've got just Phantom question. I missed part of what Kay was saying when she was talking about where the sales are, but are there many like actual platforms for selling, or were you saying that a lot of the auctions happen on Discord?
So there are definitely platforms. There's marketplaces. There's PaintSwap was the first one, and they've got, I think, well, they just hit 1,000 collections last week. And then there's NFT Key, which is cross-chain. So they have Fantom, AVAX, Matic, BSC, NFTs, maybe some other ones. And then there's Opera House, I believe, is one. And I mean, a lot of people sell on those, and you can either list for a price, you can list editions, you can list it as an auction, a timed auction. But you know, a lot of where the community kind of comes together is during the live auctions in Discord. So Pinky Swear has one every 2 weeks, and then last month just did the first Women's Night auction, which was a great success and really wonderful. Tombheads Auction House is I think it was the first one. Yeah, I guess I can safely say it's the first one. It's been around for quite a while. And then there's a new cross-chain auction that started about a month ago. So it's Fantom, AVAX. I don't know if there's Tezos artists. I think so. The people that run it are big Tezos fans. But that's also been really great, bringing artists from all these, I think it's 4 or 5 different chains, and auctioning all that afternoon. So
Yeah, that sounds really cool. I'm excited to dig in and learn more about it and connect with you guys.
They're so fun. Yeah, I would love that for sure.
Thank you, Kay and Pinky Swear. So I would say I would like to invite our last speaker, Ethspresso, to share with us a bit about his experience on Tezos. He has an extensive collection of generative art on FX Hash, which is on Tezos. And so Ethspresso.
Thank you. Yeah, so I'll try to keep it short. We are at an hour already. And love hearing all about these other marketplaces and chains and all of the resources. As you mentioned, I do have some art on Tezos. That was actually where I started minting, and created a collection on Object. I remember uploading everything on Object, which takes a while, and it's been a very kind of nice place to mint, but I have to say, I haven't gotten that much traction, probably because I haven't been in the right Twitter, the right part of Twitter, maybe. So I've actually also minted on OpenSea and ETH afterwards. And the reason for going with Tezos was that, first of all, I heard a lot of good things about the art community there, and the chain in general. It's a very solid and decentralized and good blockchain. It's it has some quirks that are good to know, like you can only have one outstanding transaction at any point, which might confuse people from Ethereum. And gas wars are typically not the thing, even though on FX Hash lately it's started to become a bit of a gas war situation when something drops and it's super hyped and everyone wants to collect it. But yeah, lots of good things to say about Tezos in general, and very happy to be on multiple chains because I think one big benefit that I see is that I can price differently on different chains and different marketplaces, which is important because I think when I'm just starting out, I feel I'm still just starting out, I want the art to be accessible. So it's listed at 2 Tez at the moment, which was kind of the lowest I felt was okay. So if anyone want to check that out, that's like 10 times cheaper than anything on OpenSea from my collections. So and I see also other artists doing similar things, like you can have cheaper work, maybe editions on Tezos. You can have stuff on Foundation, which is more exclusive, maybe one-on-ones. And it's a good way to kind of give collectors many different ways to find your art and collect it.
Thank you, Ethspresso. Do we have any questions for him? Oh, Casper wants to say something. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I just had a quick question to round up this chat to Kay as well as TradScape. We'd like to end off with a little bit of practical advice for maybe new artists. I think one of the first things to notice on the individual chains compared to ETH is obviously, I think TradScape mentioned the prices of the crypto on the native tokens on these chains can be more volatile than ETH. So how do you guys personally manage? I mean, just a very quick summary. How do you guys manage the volatility yourselves compared to something that's a bit more stable like ETH?
Yeah, I mean, it's not easy, but I think it's something that you sort of had to reconcile before you even get into the NFT space. So I guess I sort of did that. It's funny, Fantom took quite a hit in the last few weeks, and I guess a lot of people were pretty sad, you know, as it goes, but the NFT community really, really rallied together, and you know, NFTs secondary sales were flying, auction houses were still going, artists were still making. So as soon as you've sort of reconciled that there is going to be fluctuations always, then I think it gets a lot easier, and I think you just have to decide, you know, I'm getting paid in Fantom. Is Fantom something that I want to be invested in? Is it going to be like, okay, I get paid for this, but I'm going to hold it anyways because I believe that, you know, I believe in this chain and that the price will go up? Or are you just going to sort of cash out to USD as soon as you can, no matter what the price is? So I mean, it's tough, but the community makes it bearable and wonderful. I mean, the community the last few weeks in Fantom has just really, really rallied, and that makes it, you know, way easier.
Thanks. TradScape, your views?
Yeah, I mean, I would echo everything that Kay said. It's really, really good advice. I think for anyone starting out, you know, if kind of like me, I started mostly with NFTs and started learning more about crypto and trading afterwards. So familiarizing yourself with, you know, what you want your plan to be for the income and how you want to take it in and when you want to, you know, turn it into real money is all really important stuff. Maybe even learning a little bit of basic price action so you can try to make smart decisions. But I think the biggest thing is to not panic during the volatility. I mean, you know, if things crash, it's really good practice to not give up, because if you give up, it's over. And in my point of view, I sort of like, this is such an amazing opportunity for artists. It's certainly the best opportunity I've ever had in my life as an artist to live off making art. And so in the bear market right now, I'm just working harder, making more connections, and living off a little bit less money, you know. But yeah, I think most of what Kay said is just really pertinent. Just get used to the fact that things are going to be shaky and wild, and who knows how long that'll happen.
Thank you very much, TradScape and Kay. I think those are very interesting perspectives and very useful for new artists. I'll hand it back to you.
Thank you so much, TradScape, Kay, and our other speaker, Ms. MacD. I think we had a really great discussion today, and we learned so much about other chains. And I think as an Angels Wing community, and I think we should really try to bring these different communities together in the future, and not just like focus on ETH. I think this would be a great goal for our future. Yeah, so thank you everyone for joining, and all speakers. Have a great Sunday, and talk to you next week. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank
Bye.
you.